Okay, so today we're doing a heart opening sequence. So that basically means we're working a lot with our chest and our shoulders. So by the end of this, we should feel very open and broad, and maybe even a bit taller, better posture. So let's start off with one pillow. It doesn't have to be too bulky. Whatever you have at home. So the idea is just to have something there so we can elevate our chest up a little bit. So we're going to go into Supta Virasana. So our legs are in Baddha Konasana, which is just like the feet are facing each other. And then we're going to place ourselves, we're placing our spine on this pillow so that our chest is completely elevated. So your head and your neck should also feel comfortable. If not, try to adjust yourself forward and back. So let's start with our hands out to the side, spread out. So really try to make yourself as broad as possible, trying to take up a lot of space and extending your arms as much as you can. And so as you breathe deep, constant breath, trying to become aware of the present and how your body is feeling right now. And then on the next inhale, let's take our arms overhead. So now they're placed on the floor over our head. And we'll take a couple of breaths here. One last deep breath. And then we'll bring our arms back by our side. We'll bring our knees back together. And then let's roll over to our right side and come. Alright. So we'll move the pillow out of the way. And then let's take our strap, a shawl or anything that's pretty long and comfortable. And so what we're going to do is we'll sit in Sukhasana, which is just like crisscross applesauce. And then we're going to try to improve our posture with this strap. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show this from the back. So we're going to first wrap it around our back, so like where our rib cage is, like the top of our rib cage. So that's the first part. And we want it to be pretty even on both sides. And then we're just going to put both straps over our shoulders, all right? Should be as tight as you can get it. And then we're gonna, how do I say this? Like grab it from opposite sides. So we're forming like an X in the back, all right? So when you pull this, you're gonna see that your shoulders are gonna move back a little bit, and you're gonna feel that you have like a, a broader kind of chest. Did I make that clear? Okay. So yeah, let's sit in, is it good? Yeah, okay. So the tighter you pull this, the more your shoulders are gonna go back. So we'll sit in Sukhasana. And so ideally, we wanna sit like this even without the strap, right? As really good posture and an elongated, nice, broad chest, okay? So we'll just sit here, closing your eyes if you're comfortable, and just becoming aware of how long and open your spine and everything about your body is feeling right now. to take off the strap jacket, and we're going to try to keep that posture. We want to keep that nice broadness in our shoulders. And then on this next breath, let's go ahead and extend out our legs into Dandasana. So it's going to be harder to keep that posture, but we're going to challenge ourselves and try to keep that same strap jacket posture. And it's also going to be working our core as well to stay in this pose. So we'll take a couple of breaths here as well. And then let's come back into Sukhasana, and then we'll move on. Okay, so we're going to try throughout the practice, I'm going to keep referring to that strap jacket thing that we were just talking about. So really try to like imagine that you have that and somebody is, you could imagine the strap jacket or somebody is even like holding back your shoulders. But throughout like all the poses, whether it being a balancing pose, a forward fold, even downward dog, which we're going to do next, try to really have that same posture and that same broadness. Just because we're upside down doesn't mean we can, round our spine, or round our back. All right, so let's move this strap out of the way. So now we're going to go into downward facing dog. And I think we'll just go right into it. So we'll start off in table, and like we talked about in the last sequence, really try to focus your balance equally. Right side, left side of your body, your hands, your knees, everything is equal, and we're spreading our fingers and our toes out as well. The little parts matter. And then we'll activate those triceps by making sure those inner elbows are facing the front of our mat. And then we'll tuck our toes, and we're going to bring our hips up and back into downward facing dog. So like I was saying, remember that really broadness, that really good broadness we felt in our shoulders and chest earlier. So try to keep that going and bring that into this pose as well. And then on the next inhale, let's take our right leg up. So it's just parallel, we're not swinging it too high up. And then we're going to bring it into our chest, and it's going to go in between our hands. So we're in a lunge right now, all right? So now we're going to drop down to a low lunge, which means we're going to let this knee come down. So one thing, and then you can go ahead and untuck this toe. So it's not going to be like this, it's on the floor. So one thing I want you guys to focus on is there's a difference between this and this. See how I'm really pushing myself here? That's how you're going to feel the stretch in your groin. So really challenge yourself here, okay? So keeping that in mind, let's go ahead and inhale, and we're going to bring our hands up. So now we're really going to feel the stretch here, and we're going to keep that strap jacket in our mind. If you need to, even you can use your hands to fix your shoulders a little bit and come back and bring your hands up. Taking really good deep breaths here. And then we'll bring our hands back to the floor. We'll tuck our toes, bring that knee off the floor, and we'll go back into downward facing dog. So take this time to become aware of the difference between your right side and your left side. One groin may feel energized and stretched, so just noticing that. And then on your next inhale, we'll do the same thing on the left side. So we're bringing the left leg up into the air. and then it's gonna come into our chest. So we're in a plank position, and then it's gonna come in between our right and our left hand. And you may need to adjust yourself a little bit. And then we'll drop that right knee, and we're gonna make sure that we're really we're pushing our groin, and we're challenging ourselves. And then we'll untuck that back toe. And then on the next inhale, we'll come up. Not forgetting about the chest and our shoulders. And then we'll come down, we'll untuck that back toe, bring the knee off the floor, and go back into downward facing dog. We'll take one breath here before we come down. And then we'll bring our knees to the floor, and we'll go into a resting or extended child's pose, whichever one feels good for your body right now. And then we'll slowly come up. All right, so now we're gonna come up into standing. And so for this next pose, we're doing triangle pose into half moon pose. So you're gonna need that pillow that we were using earlier for like a block or some kind of support. So make sure to have that by your side. But I'm gonna do a quick little demo just to show you what we're doing before we go into it. And I'm just gonna point out a couple of things. So we'll start off in Tadasana as usual with every standing pose. And then I'm gonna bend my knees. We'll take them out like how we usually go into triangle pose. We've done this a couple of times. But we'll rotate our front leg 90 degrees, back leg just a little bit. Our hips are off center, and that's fine. And then we're gonna rotate our lower abs and everything above it back to the front, right? And so we're gonna pretend somebody is pulling us, and we're going to sit on this front knee, right? So what we're focusing on today is our shoulders and our chest, right? So when we're gonna tip, right? So once we tip and we find this block, I really want, before you even jump into coming up and extending this arm up, I want you to really focus on rotating this all the way around as much as you can, because the more you do that, this extension up is going to feel really, really good, okay? And then from there, we're going to swing this arm around, and we're going to get a really good extension all throughout here as well. And then we'll come out of it. So that was just a quick run through. We'll do it slowly now. The back side of your mat, the right side. So we'll start off in Tadasana as usual, and even here, really trying to remember that strap jacket, and trying to be as broad as possible. One deep breath here. And then we'll bend both our knees. We'll take the right foot out, the left foot out. We have a pretty decently wide step, definitely farther than hip width apart. So let's bring our hands to our hips, and then we're going to rotate our right leg 90 degrees, so it's facing the front of our mat, and the back leg just a little bit. All right, so naturally our hips are a little off, and that's what we want. So then from there, we're rotating our lower abs and everything up, back to center. All right, so our hips are a little off, but everything else is back to that. We're just gonna tip our hips. So we're tipping our hips, and we're gonna allow ourselves to fall over a little bit, and we're going to grab that block for support. So our right hand has that support. And so keep in mind while we're here, this support doesn't mean put all your weight on it. I should be able to come and knock this block down, and you should be able to stay here. So it's not an excuse to put all your weight into that block, all right? So from there, before we extend that arm up, let's really try to rotate our body around as much as possible. We're not here, we're rotating as much as we can, all right? And then, once you're comfortable there, then you can extend that left arm up. And then on the next inhale, if it's comfortable, we can swing this hand around and bring it here, above our head. And then we'll try to come out of it gracefully. We'll bring that foot back to center. We'll change the side of our support, and then we'll go on to the other side. So this time the left leg is rotating 90 degrees, right leg is tilted just a little bit, and then let's go ahead and rotate our abs, our shoulders, our chest, everything is squared off except for our hips, all right? And then from there, we'll tip our hips. We're gonna fall over, grab that support. Remember, we're not putting too much weight into it. And then we'll rotate our chest as much as possible. You should be feeling as open as possible all throughout this area. No discomfort at all. And then once you're ready, you can extend this hand up. And so because your chest is so open in this pose, breath should feel really good to flow through your chest as well. All right, and then we'll swing this arm around and say, for just a breath or two here. The more you extend this arm, the more stretch you're also going to get throughout your side as well. And then we'll come out of it. Alright. So I'm going to have you guys watch me for this next one, so we'll come back to center. So we're going to do half moon now, and we've done this also a couple of times, but you'll still need a support, but we're gonna apply those same principles of like the strap jacket once again, right? So we're going to start off in triangle like we just did, right? So we're kind of like this, the same triangle stance, and then we're going to bend this knee and bring the block over. And so we're doing the same thing as triangle. So you may need to come out first, and then you're going to try to rotate your chest. Once you've got your balance, of course. You're going to rotate your chest as much as possible so that you can extend this hand and really feel the broadness throughout your chest. The more you turn, you rotate your body, the more like broadness and the easier breath will come as well. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So you're going to need support on your right side now. Alright, so we'll start off in Tadasana. Let's just take a couple of, like 2 breaths here just to rest, I guess. So remember, as we're doing this Tadasana, to be patient with yourself, because this balancing pose can sometimes be very frustrating, but remembering to be okay with that, and even if maybe yesterday you were doing better, still not being too hard on yourself and understanding that that's where your body is today. Okay, so we'll bend our knees, And we're gonna go into triangle pose now, which was the pose we just did earlier. So the same stance, we'll rotate our right leg 90 degrees, back leg just a little bit. All right, and we're not gonna think too much about our hips and our everything else yet, because we're gonna go into half moon. So we'll tip our hips, and we're gonna bend this knee so we can grab our support, right? And so we'll bring the weight of our body onto this front right leg. And so as we push off into the floor, we'll bring that back leg up. And try to find a fixed point on the wall or on the floor that you can look at, all right? So if you've gotten your balance there, don't rush taking your hand up. Really remember to try to open up that chest as much as possible. So once you've rotated your body enough and you feel like it's you're ready, I guess, then you can take that arm up. And then try to gracefully come down. All right. So we'll rotate our legs and then we'll go right into the other side. And so remembering that maybe one side is better than the other. So like I said earlier, trying to be patient with your body as much as possible. So we're rotating the left leg, right leg, just a little bit as well. Yeah, I think those look good. So now we're going to tip our hips, bending our knee. We're going to grab that block, maybe bring it forward if you need to, and then bring the weight of your body to this front left leg. And then as you push into the floor, bring the right leg up. And then once you've found your balance, you can try to rotate your chest as much as possible. And then once you feel like you're ready and you're comfortable, you can take that right arm up and then try to come down gracefully. We'll unbend and then let's just rest in Tadasana for a breath or two. All right, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna do one last pose before we start to wind down. So this one is a little bit, it's a balancing pose as well. So it's Lord of the Dance pose. I think it's like Natarajasana, I believe. So from what I'm gonna show it quickly. So we'll start off, doesn't really matter where you face. I prefer facing the front when I'm at. But we'll start off with, like in all standing poses, we'll start off in Tadasana, right? And then we're going to bend, I'll show it this way. We're gonna bend our right leg and our right hand is gonna grab this right leg, right? So we're already gonna feel like a calf stretch here, but we're gonna extend this left hand up, right? And so we're gonna start to tip, and as we tip, this back leg is going to start to come up as well, right? So the idea is to come parallel to the floor. And so the more you have this like push, like you have to, your hand has to pull against your leg, but your leg is pulling against your arm as well, okay? So this like constant action of like working against each other is going to really help you balance, and as well it's gonna, I'm losing my balance, but it's gonna really make this pose, you're gonna go a lot deeper into this pose. So like, if I wasn't doing anything, it's gonna look like this, but the more I pull and push, it's gonna look. So where the shoulder and like the heart part comes into this is, we're just gonna pretend like we have that strap jacket on. I can't enforce this enough. It's really important to pretend that we have that. And so it's gonna feel really good. So yeah, let's just go ahead and start. So we'll start off in Tadasana. You can face wherever you would like. And then we'll bend our right leg, and we're going to grab it with our right arm. And then let's go ahead and extend our left arm up. All right, and then we're going to slowly start to tip forward. And as we do so, we're going to start that pushing, pulling action with our hand and leg, our right hand and our right leg. So your right hand is trying to pull in your right leg, and your right leg is trying to pull against your right hand. And then if you've gotten your balance, try to remember the strap jacket. You should already feel very open in your chest because of that right leg pulling against your right arm. But yeah. And remembering to breathe. And then to come out of it, we'll just tip back up and we'll let go of our leg. Alright, so let's just rest in Tadasana. Alright, so for the next side, same idea. We're going to do the left leg and the left arm. And then we'll extend the right arm up, and we're going to start tipping forward. And so as you tip, that pushing and pulling against each other action with your left leg and left arm. And then we'll try to gracefully come out of it. All right. So we're going to start to wind down now. Let's come back onto the floor. We're going to do Cobra pose. And so I'm going to say something really quickly. A lot of the times people confuse upward facing dog and Cobra. And so the main difference is in Cobra, which is what we're going to do right now, my thighs are still on the floor. My thighs are on the floor for Cobra. But for upward facing dog, they're not. They're like they're higher up. They're not on the floor is what I'm trying to say. All right, so that's the main difference. And both poses we're trying to keep our elbows in. Remember that as well. Okay, so we're gonna do Cobra now. So let's start on the floor. Our belly is on the floor. And so we're gonna tuck our elbows in. They're not out here. And we're gonna come up slowly. We're not gonna throw our head back. And we're gonna gradually come up. So we're gonna push at the floor with our hands and come up slowly. So we're not going to strain our neck by throwing our head back. And our thighs are still on the floor. And then remembering that chest strap jacket. And we'll slowly come down, just as slowly as we came up. And then let's just rest by turning our head one way, and you can bring your hands to your side as well. And then we'll come up. All right, so we're going to do a twist now, just to neutralize our spine. So we'll start off with our right leg bent, and our left leg is going to be extended out. So it looks like this. All right, and so now we're going to, we'll wait for Anjani.
Sorry, lost my connection.
It's okay. Okay, so we're doing a twist now. Our left leg is extended out, our right leg is bent. And so now we're gonna turn towards the leg, right? So we'll extend our hand up, and then to twist, we're gonna bring our right hand behind us, and our left hand is going to go on the other side of our knee. So we're pushing against our elbow and our knee are pushing against each other to create a deeper twist. So every time you inhale, trying to extend up, and every time you exhale, trying to twist and rotate just a little bit more. And then we'll release by bringing our hands back to center. We'll switch our legs. Our right leg is extended, our left leg is bent, and we're going to be twisting towards this left leg. So we'll inhale, take our hands up, and then we'll twist towards our left leg, bringing the right elbow on the outside of our left knee. So don't forget about the strap jacket. I've mentioned it so many times and it's probably annoying everyone, but really remembering that feeling of an open chest. And then we'll release. So we're going to do one last pose for the evening, and it's just a simple forward fold. And it should feel really nice after all that extension of our chest. It's almost a back bend a little bit. So we're going to do a quick forward fold. So we'll extend our legs off. We're doing padang pushta. So we're going to do forward fold. And remembering the same thing with the balancing poses, to be patient. The goal isn't to really get to the floor or to your feet fast. Just folding from this hip crease here and trying to not round or arch your back. So go slowly and be patient. And we'll release. Alright, so that's the end of our sequence. Namaste.